Lulu is also, it was first picked yesterday in their second game in the series. That was the game they won as well.
Yeah.
So the option is still there. The thing about Lulu, yes, she's still great in the mid to late game, but her laning phase has taken a very big hit. I may have overemphasized how big of a hit that was yesterday, but we've seen it being used to great effect. Nuke Duck was phenomenal on Lulu yesterday. Nick won it yesterday, so we'll have to see what they decide to pick in.
So, Lee Sin ban here for DNL, banning out Ryze themselves. So Baboon is like, hey guys, we should ban Ryze, and then I'll get them a Jax again. We'll see about that one. Ziggs was the second ban for Reason Gaming. I'm interested to see whether they'll either ban the Lucian or take it away here.
What I like about the Ryze ban is it screams to me a well thought out pick ban phase. DNL have an idea of a champion that they want to run, and they don't want somebody to either counter him in lane or deal with him. And it hasn't been locked in yet, but that Dr. Mundo, if it was going to go in there, it is available. And now you have to start thinking, is this a psych out? Do they want to try force Reason's hand? Do they make Reason start thinking about a counter to Mundo, etc., etc.? You know, there's a lot of psychological play that goes into this pick ban phase.
I don't want to say that Beanzoo's not a Mundo player, because if you play top lane these days, you have to be able to play Dr. Mundo, but he's not played him all in the Challenger Series so far. So that Lucian, we said, leave him open, then first pick him away. DNL prioritizing that one heavily, which kind of surprised me because they've gone on this complete switcheroo from yesterday where they were like, Twitch is God, and picked him in all 3 games against Cloud9.
And what they haven't done, this is the first time that they've first picked an AD carry as well. Across all of the games, it has always been either the top lane or the mid lane that's really been prioritized. Yesterday, there was one instance of a Thresh, but that was because Super Ace's Kayle was being so well countered by Voidal on Leona. So with this priority pick, it is something that Dexter pointed out himself and felt like it is such a bully, always has a strong laning presence, and scales really well into multiple comps. I think DNL are going to be happy with that first pick so far.
Let's have a look here then what they go for next. LeBlanc and Xin Xiao were the picks, and we know how strong Xin is. He's another champion that's at 100% win ratio right now. 2 out of 2, not quite as many as some of the others there. It's not quite the Nidalee who's banned out this time around. We thought about Lulu. He was a choice yesterday, the only winner mid laner that they had in that best of 3 against Cloud9 Eclipse. See if they lock that in here. I have a feeling that they're gonna.
So the thing for me for Reason at the moment, before we see what DNL lock in, is that they're going with the LeBlanc again, which makes you think that it was an executional failure on their side, not a pick ban failure. Anticipating either, you know, a mid laner like Lulu, for example, that's going to be a lane that's actually pretty even. I think with the hits to Lulu in the early game, she's not going to bully LeBlanc quite as much, and you're going to have the option to roam. But I think we need to see Senkux actually roaming. He didn't have much of a presence on the map at all earlier, and we've seen roaming from Nick's Nidalee to a much greater effect. So we'll see how he decides to play it out. As you mentioned, that Lulu was locked in.
Interesting to see how mobile they go in this team as well. Picking up the Karma we saw back at IEM, you know, the teams that didn't have Civ support as that mobility, where they'll fall back then to have where they'll put something in there in that top lane that's going to be able to just charge in there. Jungle, of course, completely open here as well for Kikis, but we'll see what Reason now are going to lock into this one. They've got the mid laner, they've got their jungler, so still looking for that AD carry. They've got the pick of the crop here, nothing banned out on that front, just Lucian taken away.
I almost like the idea of a Vi coming in for DNL. We'll see what else gets locked in by Reason, but because you've got mobility from Lulu and from Karma to chase people down, if you put Vi as your jungler, Vi's going to catch somebody. There's nothing you can do about that. She will use Assault and Battery and get in there. But then because you've got Lulu to speed up a teammate and you've got Karma to speed up your teammates, they can follow through much more effectively. It's something that I like to see whenever you have Vi's engage supports like an Annie who's going to flash turbos, like a Leona who's going to go solar flare, or in this case, like a Karma who can speed up everyone else. And I quite like that engage. We'll see how DNL decide to play it out because they still haven't locked the jungle.
And Mundo, who's just going to be in the top lane trudging along and throwing cleavers all day long to slow you down. And Twisted Fate. I mean,
not believing it.
We shouldn't rule out a Lulu top here, but I'm going to pretty much rule it out and say that's a mid lane. And Super Ace, you know, he was the one that always hovers over Sona for about half an hour before they decide on anything. Switching up a few different champions here. With that Mundo that we've seen banned out in every single game so far against Babunia now finally open, we have to assume that that's going to go in for it.
Yes, and we have to put a massive amount of expectation on this pick. If Babunia does not have the same level of control as he did with his Ryze or with his Jax, then he has tunneled on a comfort pick that may not be as successful at this level of play. The thing that I like about the Mundo in this setup right now is it creates a very big wall that is quite difficult to get past. Assuming that Mundo can pull resources onto him, maybe get some spells, maybe get the chains out of LeBlanc, that is going to then open up the team fight for Master Yi and for Lulu to come in. But the key is to not send in Lulu or Yi by themselves or alone, because they can get singled out and killed. Keep in mind that they've picked this run-at-you composition against a Xin Zhao, who has the ability to kick you away. So there's going to be a lot of emphasis on Denial finding the right team fight, committing at the right angle, and not overcommitting, which is something they've been guilty of not doing correctly yesterday and today.
So are we going to see Beanzu going back to his old favorites? Basically him and Wicked, they're like Irelia bros in Europe, you know? In fact, Wicked was watching yesterday, so he's maybe picking up a few tips from Beanzu about how to play Irelia.
Implying, of course, that Beanzu's the stronger Irelia player right now.
Hi, Wicked. But yeah, it will be Irelia this time for Recent Gaming. And again, we saw a switch away from Irelia, but going kind of back into that one. If we look back, I said it before, against Mouse Sports, the final best 3, both games against Nip. Game 1 here today. Really loves his Irelia.
I like Irelia against Mundo in the early game. I like him in the laning phase. I like him up to probably level 7, level 8 even. With no Ignite, I think there's lower kill pressure once they both hit level 6. The one thing that I dislike is that Irelia's primary damage comes from obviously her auto attacks, from her heat and style, which applies the true damage. The only real counter to true damage is to stack HP, and that is what you will be doing on a Mundo. He's going to be building up the likes of a Randy and Zoman, maybe going the route of a Warmogs if he gets enough CS. So he itemizes exactly as his core items what will counter Irelia. The thing that Irelia has that Mundo doesn't, if Irelia gets to the back line with a Trinity Force and some damage, she is a threat to the squishier targets behind. I feel that Mundo is less of a threat because he doesn't have as much damage. So we'll see how each of these players work their individual strengths and weaknesses.
Another thing we've got to consider as well is that Mundo is weak early on until he starts getting up towards that level 6 when he gets his massive regen and gets a bit tankier. We've seen how much of an impact Xin Zhao can have underneath that tower at controlling you. That's the time to shut down that Mundo.
The one thing that I do like about Mundo with Teleport in terms of his ganks is it is a lot more oppressive to get away from. If an Irelia dashes to you and she tries to stun you, and you can avoid that or you can mitigate that, the risk of her killing you is much less. However, there are so many infected cleavers that come out from Mundo. If he teleports to the bottom lane, you combine those cleavers with the root from Karma, that is a lot of CC that can keep you in place long enough to get Woolite to kill you.
So here we go then. It is game number 3. Will it be the final game here between Denial and Reason Gaming? The winners, of course, going through to the LCS Summer Promotion Tournament. Well, we've said it before. You've just got to feel that they will be playing whoever finishes in the 6th position overall after that. They get first choice, and well, if it was me, I'd be avoiding ninjas in pajamas and Cloud9 at all costs. Right now, Reason sat on this top side of the map, waiting for the Deathbrush gank, which has come in pretty much every single game apart from this one.
So for the record, if anybody is playing Denial in solo queue in ranked 5s, 2 games on, 1 game off. I want to explain what that means. Every game 1 and 2 of a series, they will invade your tribush, and every 3rd game of the series, they do not. They did it yesterday. It didn't work out. It didn't get any advantages. They played passively and their opponents read it. They've done exactly the same thing here now. It means they're predictable. And if they're predictable, if you can figure out some trends in the decision-making, it allows you to find ways to beat them later on.
Currently sat with 3 men on the bottom side, a couple around the middle there as well. And on the other side, Reason like, please, come on. You do this all the time. You've got to be doing it this time around, but it's just not happening. Denial not going to be going for this one. If anything, it's just going to be Babunia throwing himself a briefcase into that one. In fact, he probably won't even do that. He's probably going to just catch sight of them coming around.
Well, we'll see.
Oh, this could actually be a little bit dangerous for him, but he sees that, okay, Beanzu's there, Trash is there. Okay, they're all here. I'm going to back away from this one. Reason Gaming moving in for the blue buff. We see instantly there that Denial have gone straight over to the enemy blue. Is Beanzu going to try and interrupt this one?
I don't think he can. Now he can, because it's going to be a one-on-one. So at the end of the day, Kickers, he had the support of his AD carriers and support, actually. So it would have been a very risky interrupt for Beanzu. He didn't want to go over-aggressive. And at the end of the day, it's just a blue buff trade teleport was used by Binzu, so tiny advantage to Babunia as he still has his, but I'm anticipating he uses it at some point to get to the top lane sooner.
Yeah, there's 2 versus 1, which means it's not, even if it's a 1v, if you 1v1 up there, yes, you can definitely dive Mundo. If it's 3v1 with someone like, you know, Leona, for example, that they've got with Xin Zhao going in and taking things up, then it spells bad news. And we can see that Mundo actually doing wolf camps and what have you before he goes up to that top lane, knowing that he's not going to get anything from the lane anyway until he gets pushed down to his turret.
And I think that Reason Gaming are making a mistake. You do not see Crystalline or Barney D pushing that wave. They are letting it sit there. So there is a bunch of minions that are starting to stack up. That's a wave and a half worth of experience that now Babunia is going to be able to try and grab. His tower's taken no additional damage. He's got a level advantage over Binzu, will soon enough. And he's got some gold in his back pocket. So I think that's quite smart play from him. Also, it's Reason Gaming that initiated this lane swap, whether it was anticipation of a lane swap themselves or to do this, to dive. This is 3v2, Kikis is close by.
Such an obvious move, and Kikis is there, and look at him, move straight up towards the tower. That means that Reason you have to really think twice about that one, and well, maybe even more than twice about it. Trashy going through, they're trying to get rid of those minions here, but how they get enough damage down to think about really committing to a full-on dive 3 versus 2. They're not going to be able to.
There's not enough minions for that dive to be even remotely safe. Thanks to the Alpha Strike, the wave clear is actually pretty good there from Master Yi. So they defend not only the tower, they prevent the 3v1 tower dive. And look at how much Binzu's been denied. He's only got 2 CS to his name. He's not an experienced range, and he's been forced all the way back to his inner turret.
Yeah, this is pretty bad for a Reason. I mean, if you look at what DNL are doing, well, they're denying those creeps onto Irelia, but it's all the experience going over here to Babunia and actually getting some good damage off while he goes. Meanwhile, those minions just running straight through into the turret in the bottom lane. They're going to get a good few shots off here and there when everything goes through. And DNL going to be happy with this scenario.
So this is what we talked about in picks and bans. When you see that the Rise was banned out by Denial, when we had come to expect them to actually play the champion, you can theorize that, okay, they want to play a specific matchup. They want to play Mundo, for example. Then they lock in the Master Yi. The strategy from Denial was to hold this tower. Whether or not they had predicted the lane swap or not is, conjecture. But at the end of the day, they've executed the first 5 minutes perfectly. They didn't lose a buff. They've held onto a tower. There's a 19 CS advantage. That's half a kill for Babunia, but they didn't have to burn a flash because of overextending.
Little bit scared. I'm not sure if you particularly needed to fully commit to that whole flash away from it. I think it scared them a little, although with Xin Zhao then losing that lane and seeing that Irelia was having troubles and that the tower was going low, they might have been able to predict that one a little bit better. But right now we see Babunia just trying to get rid of his minions as much as possible. Actually, good couple of turret hits coming out there onto Barney D, and that's the kind of thing that you can't afford to let happen. DNL in the meantime have just simply rotated around, brought their duo lane to the mid lane.
Yeah, this is just going to be exactly what DNL did in the previous game. Rotating their champions when towers are down. Oh, Super Ace has got no flash.
Super Ace has got no flash. Senkook's actually going very low, but it is going to be Trashy that gets the first blood. Here comes Lulu, but between them, they've not got the damage to get any kind of kill back.
So I need to highlight the fact that Woolite did not use his Summoner Heal, and this is the second time this week that he has done this. Yesterday, he ran Summoner Heal and failed to use it to potentially save his support. You can argue whether it would have saved him or not, and it was smart to do so, but at the end of the day, you're not using the tools to maybe survive. So, Summoning Heal still available for Woolite. First kill secured by Reason Game. That's 3 for 3 in this series. They have grabbed themselves first blood, and all 3 times, Trashy was there to make it happen.
And they said it. They said it before this game that Trashy was going to be the man here. If Reason Gaming were to do well, he would have to have a big impact in this game. Meanwhile now, Woolite actually going to get pressured quite a lot, and that's some good damage coming out of LeBlanc. The Chalice already in there with boots, and that door and drink. Barney D catching pretty much every briefcase these days, and not doing too much damage to him. It's just basically body blocking those minions.
Yeah, mate, trying to deny Babunia, which is a decent enough attempt, but he's got to be a little bit careful, because if he goes too low and Master Yi comes up to set up a gank, there is a lot of damage from that Master Yi, especially once he throws down that Wuju style. So we'll see We'll see how they play it out. As it stands, the 2v1 has still remained for Reason Gaming. They've not rotated any of their members to try and defend that middle lane, and they've jumped up Babunya.
Level 6 he is. Where's the ultimate? And wow, that was very late actually from Babunia coming out, but I think it's going to be enough anyway. It's a lot of regen after all. And actually managing to avoid quite a lot of that damage. And actually he's going to start chasing in here. Not sure how deep he can really go. Woolite was coming to join the party, but still would have only been a 2-on-2 scenario. Reason Gaming there started to move a little bit towards Dragon. They're in full vision though if they do.
Yeah, the moment Denial revealed that they're AD carry and support in this top lane, it's actually going to open the Dragon up to Reason Gaming, assuming that they take all of their solo laners. Because this is a 2-on-2 in this top lane. Teleport is actually, I believe, just been used by Babunia to the bottom lane, so there's a little bit of presence. That window of opportunity has been reduced, but as it stands, there is the higher possibility of Reason starting that one off.
Going straight towards the turret here. And once they already have one down in that bottom lane. Fantastically played by Woolite. And Super A's at the start of things. Barnaby getting closer to level 6 here, but still taking a fair bit of poke there as we do see Aurelia forced to flash away from Dr. Mundo.
Yeah, Babunia didn't even use his ultimate. That was just straight, you know, Burning Agony and landing cleaver after cleaver forces Beanzu away. The thing with Aurelia in terms of this early stage of the game, her mana pool is very, very limited. So if you start using and spamming your spells, you run out of mana very quickly. Part of the reason Beanzu couldn't stick around was the fact he was forced away. And because he was forced away, because of the fact that top laner couldn't come to Dragon, Denial are now going to pull their resources together, secure the first Dragon of the game at 9 minutes. Maybe a steal? No, not this time.
No, not quite close enough. Sencooks actually may go for Nick and just gets polymorphed up there, says, nah, you can't really jump at me, that's not going to happen. However, Trashy is coming around here. This is a very dangerous move. Actually dodging away from that one, but the exhaust is going to come down. They get the stun onto Barney D. Will they get away? Yes, they will. And actually throwing the Colin back down, that's going to force them back off. Kristlund starts to come in. Whoa, flashes away from the Piltover Peacemaker. That would have been a kill, I think, if it had landed.
Overconfidence from Moonlight to stay there, but now Sencooks is trying to find a kill. I think he's going to be a little bit too late. The movement speed from Super Ace was good, and we'll see if he can get caught.
He's going to throw everything he's got here at Super Ace, including the Ignite, and Sencooks does get the kill. Barney D came in just to make sure that that one was in fact secure, and he wasn't going to be flashing away from them. Well, Super Ace already used his flash just before that, so of course he wasn't going to flash away.
2 kills for Reason Gaming throughout the course of this opening 10 minutes. Reason have found kills, but they've only got that single tower, and right now Nick rather, almost got caught out by those chains. I think Denial are playing more objective focus is the way you have to talk about this. They've moved around, they were putting damage on the towers, they were trying to push middle lane off the bottom lane, they've got the first Dragon. And Reason are just trying to find picks, trying to find kills. It hasn't equated to a mass amount of map control yet, but I think it has evened it out. That's the best way to think about it.
Good damage from both mid lanes there, actually. I think Sencooks just about getting the advantage of that one. Of course, Wild Growth is still there for Nick. Possibly a secret weapon for him as well if Sencooks comes in. Actually was just a little bit out of range of that one, as was Nick's Little Lance as well in the end. So, interestingly enough, nothing really landing out of that last encounter. We see that both teams starting to converge a little bit around middle.
Yeah, I think both of these teams really want to open up their opponent's jungles. They've got a lot of kill potential. I think Reason Gaming's got slightly higher pick chances with their champions. And if Denial can force Reason Gaming to group up, then all of a sudden the team fight power of Dr. Mundo, of Yi, of Lulu can become apparent. So Denial trying to force the hand of Reason by grouping up and maybe prematurely pulling members of Reason together, pulling them towards them. It's going to open up an Alpha Strike into a Wild Growth, into Dr. Mundo running through and wrecking everybody's face. So we'll see how Reason respond. As it stands, they haven't necessarily taken the bait because it's just been a duo lane swap a couple of times that has been equaled out.
Sinchout just showing himself on a ward there, moving into the Denial jungle, and they pinged him straight away, so they know that Trashy is in there somewhere, but Reason have their vision on that bottom side of the map, and I'll be happy for that one. If we look at the CS here, interestingly enough, brought nicely back here by Beanzu against Babunia. 84-79 was a lot bigger before.
It was. Beanzu was also left alone and uninhibited in the bottom lane for a period of 5 to 6 minutes. So that allowed him all the time that he needed to pick up that CS. We've seen Babunia rotating a little bit more. He's picked up Dragon as well. you know, chasing down Beanzu. What I think I'd like to see from Reason is finding more picks. They've got Nick.
They're going to finish him off here. There's the dive in. Wild Growth does come down. Solar Flare is in there as well. Nick is still alive. Zenith Blade misses, but there is Senkux diving straight into the back. That will be 3-0 to Reason.
Yeah, they managed to get the pick, and this might be the first pick that allows them to secure an objective. They have 4 members of the team against only 2 now of DNL. This should be the tower.
All the folk coming in there. Kikis, to be honest, can't get involved in this one. They're just going to try and leash him up, but almost getting caught out there by the Zenith Blade. In fact, it's going to be Senkux that dives in, ace in the hole, going to be blocked out. Have they got the damage? Trashy certainly does have. Goes in, the Alpha Strike from Kikis comes out. Good turret damage coming in. Trashy going to go low. Here comes the teleport as well from Mundo, but is he going to be able to get in there? Lucian from the backside. Where's the Cullen? He doesn't even need it. He's going to get 2 kills. Now they go towards Senkux. The Cullen is going to be sprayed out from the side. They get Chris Lund as well. That's Babunia doing the work there, and now they turn over on towards Beansu. Perma slowed by Dr. Mundo, and that is another one. Disaster strikes for Reason Gaming.
1 for 4 and the tower. Reason managed to take away the objective, but at the cost of 4 of their members' lives. Lucian secures 2 kills. Dr. Mundo is going to kill. There's a bunch of assists. They feel like they've got an easy kill. They feel like they can just jump onto Super Ace and destroy him. Look at how far the rest of the members of DNL are. You see that Lucian is making his way through the river, and the teleport's now coming in from Babunia. Woolite got great positioning, didn't even need the culling like you mentioned. And unfortunately, because the teleport was too late there from the sides of Beansu, he jumps in and it's too little too late. He ends up giving up yet another kill. Over-aggression from Reason. They tried to find a pick to get another tower. A little bit of greed set their tone, and it may be evened out by that mid-outer turret.
Turret was an absolute MVP in that fight as well. I think it did damage to 4 of them, or certainly 3 of them as they were trying to back away from that one. So a little bit of luck can sometimes go a long way, or a little bit of unluckiness maybe for the other team there. Reasonable really getting tagged up by that one. We do see DNL now getting themselves the blue buff just in time. 30 seconds until the next dragon does come in play. DNL, of course, now have that gold lead and could add a bigger swing if they're able to pick up the dragon.
So this is one of these moments that you look at the game and you think to yourself, well, Reason are playing aggressively, but that's the first time they've been punished for it. DNL, oh, they've caught Babunia. Can he get away? He can.
Yeah, it's Mundo. No problem. Gonna have half HP by the time his ultimate actually stops here, and they're just gonna run straight around the back from this. They've got good poke, but they need to be careful about that death push. They need to be careful about Trashy, and they wisely put the ward down. That will be cleared straight out. Someone else will probably just throw something in there. They're doing good amounts of poke until the rest of the team come around. They've stopped Reason Gaming doing this one, and now Reason have to make a decision. Who are they going to go for? Babunia is not really the target that you want. Wild Growth was popped. Barney D is going to go low on this one. It's Trashy that's having to go Babunia, but Kikis has got Barney D. Woolak's got a kill at the back as well. He goes low, but he's not going to go down, and this is surely 3 kills. Double kill there with the Alpha Strike for Kikis, and that, again, will be 4 men down. This time they didn't even get a kill back.
4 easy kills for DNL, and Trashy was the one that went aggressive on Dr. Mundo. He jumped onto the tank, the member of DNL that wants him to be in his face. At the end of the day, DNL, they positioned better, they found superior targets. It's allowed them to pick up this dragon, which will be uncontested, and they backed away from that inner mid-turret. But the thing that really stands out for me was the fact that Woolite came in from the flanks. He came in from the sideline, managed to pick up a solo kill, and more importantly, the indecisiveness from Reason Gaming. Look at Woolite's positioning. He's going to be able to find himself a kill here. I think he 1v1 Senkux if memory serves. Every shot to the culling is going to start melting him. Heal comes out. I mean, straight outplay. Every single burst came down. And at the end of the day, because of the poor targeting from the rest of Reason, it just gives Kikis all the time that he needs to chase down and grab himself those kills.
Yep. Doing well. I mean, if you look at the scoreboard here, everyone really chiming in from this one. 3-0-1 Woolite as well. He has done so well here today. Yesterday, our biggest qualm with him was positioning. And while he's not been perfect today, we have seen a couple of Woolites in the middle of the enemy team. He's been a lot better, no doubt about that.
Yeah, I think because of the threats from the rest of his team, it's worked out. Yesterday, for example, when he was playing Twitch, he was the only threat to Cloud9.
Yeah.
And the moment Cloud9 took him out, it was a guaranteed teamfight victory. Now, you do feel like Kikis and Nick and maybe even Babunya to a smaller extent are actual threats to be worried about. That single team fight in the river gifted Denial a 4,000 gold lead, 5,000 gold lead thanks to the kill to Dragon, and I think they also killed it out of turret. I mean, Nick, he didn't even blow anything to get away from that. The Ethereal Chains didn't land. Senkux just hasn't been able to blow people up consistently with this LeBlanc.
And that's a real danger for them. Actually, Super Haze getting hit here and actually going to flash away, speeds himself up and says, no, you're not going to catch me today. Good flash from him. And to be fair, the solar flare from Barney D was nicely landed, but the follow-up not quite perfect. This is bad news for Warlight now. He's out of position completely. Where's he going to go? Well. He's got a ward on the top side. He's got Trashy coming in. He manages to get over to Baron, which is going to hit him. There is Senkux going in towards Super Haze. Is that the choice that he really wanted? I don't think so. And now they've turned around. They're going to have a go on towards Barney D. The calling comes through. Kikis gets one. Can he follow through on towards Senkux? Rest of the team a little bit further off from this one, but they've done good damage. They force Reason to back off.
And just like that, Woolite, he's still going deep. That's into 3. I think he's dead now.
What? Wild Growth comes around from this one. He's going to get tethered. No, he walks out of range of that one as well. They turn around on towards Crystalline, who uses that summoner heal. It's Polymorph. Senkux now comes around. Now they're under the turret. Woolite surely going to die here. Gets the shield. Finally gets shut down. But look how low everyone is. Kikis up the side. Crystalline an easy target. And Senkux is going to get in there. Gets one. Gets shut down. Now Trashy comes around. And in the end, a 3-for-1.
I do not understand the thinking behind that call. Yes, at the end of the day, it took a few seconds longer for Woolite to go down, but because they chased so incredibly deep, they end up giving up 3 kills. They gifted them to Reason Gaming on a platter. Okay, so initially, Woolite goes into 3. Nick was close enough to get in range for a Wild Growth to knock up a couple of members, but then they carried on chasing. These teams are so blood-hungry and bloodthirsty that they're going way overextended. Instead of just backing away, getting good vision in the red buff, and maybe setting up for a Baron bait, they give away control of that area of the map. They've allowed Barney D to clear their pink wards, and now all of a sudden, Reason Gaming have got very good vision in and around the pit as well.
And just as I was praising Warlight for having better positioning, he's in the back of the Baron pit, baiting all his teammates into having a fight, and then he face checks even further into the next room.
You know what it makes me think? When you look at something like that, I like to imagine, or I like to think to myself that maybe Woolite is the shot caller for the team. Maybe he's the one that is saying, let's engage, let's go. When you see an AD carry on the front line, he did have the support of Nick. You can't deny that.
True.
Was it a good call? That's an entirely different argument, and I don't think that it was. But at the end of the day, you know, Woolite is always... I mean, look at this. The rest of his team is sitting on the opposite side of the river.
Especially when there's LeBlanc.
He's face-checking a LeBlanc. He's either not afraid of this LeBlanc or so inherently confident in his Lucian ability that he's face-checking. And that's in the face of Leona. The cojones on this guy is insane.
Well, to be fair, if you guys tuned in at the start and saw the initial video that we showed, it was Woolite himself who said, yeah, today we're facing Reason Gaming. It's going to be easy. And that was basically a statement. I mean, he's obviously a very confident guy at this stage.
The thing is, you can't even really argue with him. He's 2-0 at the moment. He's 3-1-3 in this game. He's got more CS than his opposite number. His team's got, you know, that 5,000 gold lead. They've got more dragons to their name. The real test is now, how do they siege? They don't have that long-range guaranteed poke that they had from Italy, which makes the siege power somewhat less effective. And a burst from Senkux was good, not enough to kill Woolite.
Not enough, and he's on that Bloodthirster, of course, to heal himself back up, working up to Trinity Force as item number 2. And if we look down, just to note the CS again, on every single front, except, I suppose we can say the supports there as well, because of the Relic Shield Face of the Mountain combo. They have a big lead. 180 to 150 in the Mundo versus Irelia.
2 levels difference.
Yeah, 2 levels between them. He's got a Warmogs and a Sunfire Cape. Is Nick actually going to call what? Shield on Lulu, not really taking too much damage as Kikis and Trashy gonna go head to head. Who's got the advantage in this one? I think Kikis felt it was Trashy that had the advantage, decides to back it off, have a bit of a meditate, and now they push up this middle lane again. Warlight, the big focus from this one as Babunya teleports into the Wraith camp there thanks to that wall.
They want the inner turret in this middle lane. And when you look at the itemization from Babunya, he's got Sunfire Cape and Warmogs. And we talked about how Mundo's natural itemization is a direct counter to Irelia. And that's why he's doing so well in that matchup. He did burn his teleport to get to mid lane, whereas Binsu still has his available. But look at the rest of the waves. Kikis split pushing top lane and using the culling just to get pressure and presence on this map.
Well, we heard Dexter say earlier on that it's very possible that a Lucian ban is the best thing that they could do right now because Woolite is looking confident. He remains confident at 3-1-3 and about to hit 200 CS. They're trying to poke their way in for this turret. Babunia is just going to stand there, tanking it up like Mondo does.
Yeah, why not? Wild Growth is there if you need it. He's going to be able to use his ultimate for healing as well. This is the first time we've seen Master Yi being one of the primary split pushers, I would say. And we'll see how it works out. Babunia does pop his ultimate, Ignite is running, and nothing happens. I mean, Senkux is trying. He's really trying. It's just not getting him anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, if you can't kill the AD carry outright, that's when you know you're in a little bit of trouble. If you can't get rid of him, and we saw actually a pure 1v1 earlier of Woolite and Senkux, and Woolite basically destroyed him.
Yeah, every single bit of damage from Woolite connected, and unfortunately Senkux did not land.
They're going to do a desperation Baron here.
This could end very badly, but it does look like Woolite's backing away. Now, there's a pink ward being cleaned up, so does he cancel his recall, or are they that brave it's not going to happen? It looks like the rest of DNL are moving themselves towards that Baron pit. But yeah, as soon as they reveal the rest of Reason Gaming, there's, it's guaranteed it's not happening. If we take a look at the gold difference, I mean, there's 7,000 gold between these two teams right now. You've already touched on the fact that the CS numbers are heavily in DNL's favor. The only challenge they have is getting a tower. It took them 3 waves to try siege that inner turret, and they didn't get it.
Only they had in Italy.
Only they had in Italy.
They've been in this position 3 games in a row, basically, and that Italy has been the factor that's allowed them to push through. I think it's going to go the same way. It'll just take a little bit longer because they don't have that pure bam, huge burst of damage onto a single target that they had when they have the Nidalee in there. But the fact is, Babunia can stand in front of the tower and just tank it up. Yeah, at which point Reason have to just fight.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I think that for DNL, the key is to force Reason's hand. And whether you force their hand under a tower by making Mundo the target, by making them attack you, or whether you force their hand by warding up and pulling them to Baron, pulling them towards Dragon, something like that. One way or the other, if DNL cannot pull Reason Gaming towards them, it's going to be more difficult. We do have to consider you can also split push with Dr. Mondo and Mr. Yi. Master Yi. Wrong vowel there in the first word. So if Master Yi and Dr. Mondo can pull members of Reason towards them in the split push, that is definitely where they can get in there.
Oh, there is once again
that's
the
it.
pressure coming out. No, it's not. Shield from Super Ace and the heal coming out there. You know, see Woolite, he heals himself. This time Super Ace didn't use his. Like, now you didn't heal me earlier on. You got to be confident that you've got enough health this time around. But it means he's got to back off, and it looks like Reason Gaming are going to try and force something here. In fact, he went back towards the Wraith camp, I think, to try and get some lifesteal back on them. Now,
that's the trick for Reason Gaming. If they want to bridge the 6,500, 7,000 gold gap and try get back into this match, they need to find picks. They've got a lot of single target damage. Let Aurelio Zinzao jump onto somebody, combo that with LeBlanc's burst, and finish it with Ace in the hole. That is how they find their gold difference and find the objectives they need to get back in this game. But it hasn't worked yet, so it's going to be very difficult.
Big ward down in the Death Brush, but actually Karma poke is pretty strong. Sorcerer's Shoes actually in there as well out here. Is he going to get caught out? They're going to go throw everything his way, but again, he's walking. The chain shield, they're going to finish him again. The shield comes in. This time they've done him, but Dr. Mondo is coming in the back. Mr. Yi is joining him as well, and they're going to go for Crystalon. They managed to finish him off. Can they get through the rest of them? Who's the target? It's Barney D. Here comes Lulu from the backside as well. The knockup comes in. It's Kikis that got the wild growth. Senkux is so low. Barney D's going to sacrifice himself. Senkux goes down. That's an admission of defeat there. I think they stopped trying to run away. It's going to be an ace, a triple kill for Lulu, a 5 for 2.
Reason Gaming needed to get the pick and then to back away. By sticking around, they opened themselves up to this run-down champions of DNL. So they overcommit. Yes, they're about to kill Woolite, but look at this. Reason Gaming are completely split up. You had 3 members in the middle. Now they've grouped up. In the back line, they've left Crystalline alone. They chased so deep to get the kills that they left their AD carry by himself. Now, as a smaller unit, even though they have a numbers advantage, the mobility from Yi, from Lulu, and from Mundo, in conjunction with their heals and, you know, the non-targetable Kikis when he does go for that Alpha Strike on Mr. Yi, he dodged the chain. It looked like LeBlanc was standing there, but the Ethereal Chain hadn't been juked away by the Alpha Strike. And it was just an easy rundown for Denial and their Mr. Doctor combo.
Baron was taken there as well, I believe, straight away afterwards. We'll get confirmation of that one in just a second when I actually see anyone on my screen that could possibly have that Baron buff.
They're not dealing damage yet. So
there we go.
Hey, there we go. So Woolite, yes, holding the Baron. So now they've extended that gold lead even further. And we touched on the fact that in previous fights, even if you like focus Woolite intensely, there's enough threats on the rest of Denial. They're going to do the same. There's a little bit of vision there. And with Babunia on the front line, I think those two, they could have 2v3'd. I actually think they have enough damage. And Hex Drinker, Bloodthirsted Trinity Force, and Woolite's gone for those Merc Treads. So he's going to get out of that route just a little bit quicker, and he's going to be able to start returning the damage. Denial, complete control. Now we need to see them sieging. Could
have also just looked at the minimap and seen that Baron is in fact gone from there as well. So apologies for that one, camera guys. Doing a fantastic job. Push here from Nick and Kikis. Meanwhile, Dr. Mundo going to push straight up that bottom lane. In fact, 4 men going to join in. He has got so much health right now, Dr. Mundo. There's not much you can do about it as the Colleen comes through, and that is LeBlanc out of the fight. This is the turret. The inner turret in that bottom lane is going to be pushed as well. Irelia has to come back.
Irelia can't do anything against Dr. Mundo, so instead Reason Gaming should just give up the inner turret, try force a 5v4 if they want to defend. Trashy jumps in with that audacious charge, but does nothing. He immediately has to back away. He doesn't want to get polymorphed. He doesn't want to take the damage. We do see that Binsu is undecided. He has no idea. But Bunya doesn't care. Mundo does what he pleases. They've caught Super Ace.
They've caught Super Ace, and that's going to be 1 kill. But we see Wild Growth use. Here comes Mundo from the side. That's going to slow down Barney D. Binsu is going low as well. They flash away from things, but I don't think Kikis and Babunia care. I think they're going to go straight in for this one. Trashy gets slowed down. That's a good Randuin's Omen to actually keep them from chasing through, and a good few turret hits tanked up there for Denial, but a few too less as well. They needed about 10 more on each person. The inhibitor is going to go down.
And bottom lane
can go straight to bottom, yeah.
There's such a big minion wave on that bottom lane. They still have a lot of hit points available. Keep in mind that a lot of those ultimates are not there yet, so let's see how long they keep the siege up. They do back away, and they picked another fight.
They picked another fight, which looks good for them because Kikis is now dominating at 6-1-7. And is he going to turn around? Goes towards Binsu, who walks away from him. Minions are going to go pushing up as we are going to see Chrisland and Nick going head-to-head, but the Colleen comes out. One more will do it. There's a dash in, and Chrisland's gonna... that was a good juke. Press B and juke all the skill shots. But gets down to the auto attack to the end. Trash is gonna go down. They try and lock up Babunia, but he's Dr. Mundo with about 5k HP and actually survives in the end. He meant to put that on Mundo, but it landed on Kikis, and it's not a bad target after all, because he's just gonna dash straight in there. They're gonna go in towards the inhibitor turrets. Nexus turrets are going down here as well, and that is going to be game number 3, going to Denial, and more importantly, that is their position secured in the LCS Summer Playoff Promotion Tournament.
Very well played by Denial. Throughout the series, they started slowly in game 1. They were much more convincing in game 2. In game 3, once they got a lead, they were in complete control. Very well played indeed. 3-0. No doubt at all about the performance.
3-0, and we have Dexter with us once again here. Dexter, as he said, you know, a slower start this time around for Denial. But again, once they get a hold onto the game, they don't seem to let go here. They'll push their advantage when they have it.
Well, I have to say that after Reason Gaming got the mid lane tower, I was like, damn, they actually have a chance of winning this game, but they overcommitted at the... Like, they got the tier 1 tower. It's like the most important objective for pick comps, because after the mid tower is done, then you can just pick up wards in their jungle and then create picks. That's what you want to do with LeBlanc. And you have Irelia that was really strong at this point, split pushing, and she could one-on-one Mundo actually. And that's what you do. You just have someone split push and have the other 3 splitting 2 at the tower, and then you have LeBlanc waiting in the jungle to create picks from the targets that rotate. But they overcommitted after the first tower was down, and then they basically gave away their whole advantage. And yeah, Denial always picks up the first dragon of the game. which should not happen actually, I think. But yeah, Lulu is pretty strong. She was 6-2. I'm pretty surprised that Lulu hasn't been picked up that early in the European challenger scene that much since Italy was banned. But yeah, it worked out for them.
I have to say, Master Yi 719. Are we any more convinced yet?
Well, it was more Reason Gaming's misplay than a really good play on Kiki's part. But yeah, I mean, he did good in this game. You can't deny that. But I have to say that Reason Gaming misplayed the complete game, actually. And they had no idea what their win conditions are. And yeah, that cost them the game in effect.
Yeah, and with that, of course, the 3 challenger teams are locked in for the 2014 LCS European Summer Promotion Tournament. The Ninjas in Pyjamas, Cloud9 Eclipse, and, of course, our new team in there, DNL, after picking up that game, will get their shot at making it to the league, starting on Thursday, April the 24th.
Yeah, and while we know the 3 challenger teams, the final LCS team in the tournament will be determined in next week's European Spring Playoffs. It's going to be the team that places 6th. So whoever loses their best of 5 will make it that way.
So, Dexter, if you were on a European LCS team that was in the bottom 2, if you're Millennium Super Hot Crew or whoever finished last in the playoffs, which teams would you pick and who would you be avoiding like the plague?
Well, I know NIP is pretty good. I would avoid them at all costs, I think, because even when I have a good team in LCS, you never know, because they're really good. They went to Worlds. We had huge success in the European LCS last split. Their laner are top-notch, world-class level. Zoro0 is arguably the best top laner in the Western region, I think. Nuke Duck has like a really safe laning too. He just farms up, perfect CSing all the way. And yeah, they just play a really low-risk game where you can't really have any possibility to do something unless you play really aggressive. And even when I like playing aggressive, I don't want to play against them, actually. So I would avoid them at all costs. I would probably pick either Denial or C9. Simply the fact that C9 doesn't have their jungler, the Ko, I think, he's too young to play in LCS. So I don't think they are that good. Like, I think he's the best player on the team and causes them a lot of victory. Like, he's the reason why they are so successful. And yeah, I think for me, it doesn't really matter what team from the 2 I get. I would just avoid Nib at all costs, to be honest.
So let's take a step back and talk about Denial just before we talk about NIP and Cloud9, who will be coming up later. What do you think Denial need to do in the next 2 weeks to prepare for the summer promotion tournament? What do you feel is something that they did right and did wrong from the series and the games we've seen yesterday and today?
From what I can see, they are a bit one-dimensional in terms of strategy. All they want to do is like they have high priority on Lucian and Nidalee, and if you take them away from them, then I have to see what they can play as well. So and how well they play it. And I think they should prepare better strategically. And they should study opponents a lot and watch Korean games maybe and get the 1 or 2 things, because their vision game was really shaky. And yeah, I think if they practice for 2 weeks and work on their mistakes and communication, then they might even have a chance to get into LCS. Yeah.
I want to throw the question the other way around. If you're these challenger teams, who would you rather play in the LCS? I mean, we can stay with Millennium Super Hot Crew because they're the bottom 2. They're the teams that we know are going to be down there.
It all depends from I think Support Crew is actually pretty good, simply because of Mr. Rallis. I think he's really good, and their bot lane is decent. Their new mid laner, I have no idea how well he does in Europe. So yeah, I think I would go with Millennium simply because they just got a new jungler, and I think their jungler, even when he was being around a long time in the scene, I think he was inactive or something before that and didn't really have the chance to play fully to his potential yet. So I would just go with Millennium simply because they obviously have team communication issues, and yeah, they had the last at the LCS for a reason. So I would probably go with them.
Well, we'll have to see who they end up playing.
Yeah.
I want to talk just a little bit about NIP. I know I, in particular, expect a lot from the team. This is a group of players that are praised and touted all the time, and when they fail to deliver, it shocks. I mean, it is. Whenever we watch NIP games, they play incredibly safe. They are not known for super aggressive, especially in early. They like to get mid-game. Do you feel that teams like Denial, teams like Cloud9, teams maybe like Super Hot Crew, if they play aggressive in the laning phase and get an advantage, is it enough to beat a team like NIP?
I think at the current state, it's not possible for them to beat them, simply because NIP has really good mechanics on every champion, like on every lane, and jungler has good mechanics too. So from what I see is they just farm for like 20 minutes. They really love extended laning. And in Europe, extended laning is a thing. Like no one likes lane swapping or have like 4 tower down at 4 minutes, right? And I think it's really good for NIP to have this in Europe because everyone is playing after their game and they want to extend the laning phase as much as possible. They want to get the 3 items and then teamfight. And they will just outplay every team in skirmishes and teamfight, I think, simply because they have superior mechanics.
So you were on a team with basically Lemon Dogs played the way that NIP plays here. So I'm going to ask you the question, how do people beat them then?
Well, we saw what happened against Rocket. You just played a better late game. They just pick Kale, outskilled mid lane, and then you play 1-3-1, for example, against them, and you have stronger laners on the sidelines, split pushing. And yeah, it basically is who has the better late game team. And if you just play safe and they don't commit, they don't overcommit, and you know a bit about rotations and what to expect from a team and what your win conditions are, then you might actually be able to beat them. Because if you have the better late game and your mechanics are like decent enough to match them, then you might even win them. Yeah.
For a team like DNL, not overcommitting and chasing past towers would be a good start.
Simply just picking better late game champions. I think that's what my strategy would be. Or picking like really aggressive picks like Lee Sin in the jungle maybe, or LeBlanc, but it will probably be banned anyway, so it's hard to say.
You'll probably ban it against ninjas in pajamas anyway. Some secret tips there from Dex on how to beat ninjas in pajamas. Guys, it's time for us to take a quick break, but when we return, it's time to crown the first